Hello, welcome to the course. Our course is fieldwork, brought to you by Tower Academic, and we are going to look at what we shall cover in this course. Number one, we shall look at the introduction of the course, basically, define what fieldwork is, go to the methods, and then under the methods, we shall look at the method used in fieldwork, connecting fieldwork, and then we shall look at the drawings, and the drawings we shall look at sketch map, line transit, and panorama. Briefly, we shall look at how they are drawn, how they appear, and then the findings is what we conclude us on, and that is the relationships, the conclusions, what we have discovered from the field, and basically understanding the geography of the field work. So that's where we shall end at. So that is our course outline, basically course outline. At this point, you want to understand what is fieldwork. Basically, fieldwork is a method. It's just a method of teaching and obtaining geographical information from the field of study through the use of different methods of data collection, i.e., observation, sketching, sampling, questionnaire, map orientation, and interviewing. Basing on the O-level set, I believe you understand this, and you had a study of fieldwork in O-level, and I believe this is just an addition. You have a foundation for all this. So we are saying fieldwork is just a method of teaching, and this method of teaching involves an individual to move into the field and then collect data through the use of that information, the methods that we are seeing right there. That's observation, sampling, questionnaire, and many others. So we are saying, what areas are examined in this area? That's fieldwork. We have three places, or three steps, or three areas. Number one is preparation, and that's pre-field work. The things we do before we move in for fieldwork, and the things we do in the actual fieldwork when we are collecting data. That's number two. And then what do we do after the actual fieldwork? And that's what we call follow-up. So those are the areas that we ask. Nothing else do we ask apart from that. And our interest there is as simple as understanding the preparation, that is before fieldwork. And before fieldwork, we shall look at what we do cover before we move in for fieldwork, for the actual fieldwork. So what do we cover immediately after that? We shall go to data collection. How do we get data, or how do we collect data from the field? Which methods are we going to use, and which methods do we use, and how to explain these methods? Then lastly, we shall look at follow-up. Our interest in follow-up is to conclude, write a report. What do we do? What stages are there? And what do we cover? So basically that is it. And those are the areas that we examine, or that I examine from UNEB, or the one you have to sit for. Basically, we'll ask in all those areas. They will pick questions from those areas. And through our course, we shall understand that more. So preparation, that is before fieldwork, and we're having a phrase there, an acronym or a formula which is known as PTOM. PTOM is just the stages where we look at how we carry out pre-fieldwork. That is pilot study, topic, objective, and method, plus tools, seeking permission, and then grouping people in groups, and then we move out for fieldwork. That's why we are saying plus 3. So the 3 is the methods, the tools, and then the permission, then the groups. Now data collection is where we're going to see the different methods, and then follow-up is how we conclude. So topic, that is 1, and then objective 2, and then preparation 3. So moving on, we are seeing number 1 is preparation, the pre-field work. So these are the sample questions and how they might ask us. How they always question us. Number 1, explain the procedure you followed in the preparation of the study. That's question number 1. It's the same with number 2 and number 3 and number 4, where they say describe the pre-field work activities you carried out before the study. So the approach here is, number 1, as we said earlier, going backwards, is that the PTOM, you are going to explain this in order, and you're going to give us the pilot. A teacher moved out and then was able to survey the area, and then you came up with a topic, which was, you state the topic, and then you're able to drive the objectives, and also you give examples which were, and then you give the methods that you are going to use. Decide to use on the following methods, which were and then also you look at number one, the tools you're going to use, and then also the permission, and then plus the group. But if you move that alone, then that is you as an individual. So we are saying also it is important that you explain all the stages in their rightful order, from number one to number last. As we said, number one is pilot study, number two is topic, number three is objective, number four is method, number five is seeking permission, before seeking permission is tools, number next is permission, number next is grouping people and setting off. So those are the preparation stages, or the pre-field work stages that we do carry out before we move out for the field. And the approach how we answer those numbers is that you write them in order and you give them in their rightful order and you explain them. Number next is data correction. So how do we question in data correction? So these are the sample question, but before that is an NB up there, as you can see, identification. What are we supposed to do when we are answering this number? So number one is you have to identify the method. You have to define the method and describe the method and show us how you have used the method. Then next you have to give information that is obtained from using that method. For instance, observation. So you state it and say observation. I used observation. Then you define what observation is. The use of observation is the use of the eyes to observe geographical phenomena in the field, analyze geographical data, and make comparison and conclusions. Then you show us how you used it. Then you say, I used my eyes to see. Don't again repeat and say, I used observation, no, or I observed. No, that's wrong. Do not repeat the method into your explanation. So you look and say, you state and say, I use my eyes to see. Then what did you see? I used my eyes to see the land use activities at Kasenyi landing site, which were number one, we had fishing, we had settlement, we had and many others. So the information that you're trying to note down is the one that's the information you obtained. So the sample question below are describe the methods you used to collect data. Which techniques did you use in the field? And then the other one is describe the activities you carried out during the fieldwork study and explain how you achieved your objectives. All these questions are asking you this data correction. And we are saying in the data correction, you identify the method, you define the method, describe how you have used it, and then show us the information you have obtained. That is the approach. Clear? Moving on. Drawing sketches. This is the last bit. So we are saying drawing sketches. These are where we are drawing different diagrams and illustrations, which we call sketches. And that is one, the sketch map, the panorama, and the cross sections. These are items that we draw to represent certain information in the diagram format. So here we are interested in the qualities of a good diagram, good sketches. For example, a sketch map, you know, as a geographer, that we have qualities of a good map. And then we have the features that we are supposed to indicate, and that's the physical and the man-made feature, basing on the question they've asked you. So that's when you indicate what they've asked you. So you also have to label things on these illustrations or the sketches themselves. So that's the approach here. So briefly, that explains our introduction bit of the fieldwork, and we're going to go into now the actual fieldwork, and that is fieldwork at Kasenyi Fish Landing Site in our next segment. See you there.